Hey YouTubers, and welcome back to another Jigsaw discussion theory speculation video. Basically today we're going to be talking about some really small news. Honestly, if we're being completely honest, this is pretty small news, but I just wanted to kind of bring it to you guys' attention because, you know, for the most part it is kind of news, and most people who are really hoping that this film is good or following this news like I do, you know, any little thing at this point is just kind of nice to have, you know, we'll take it. But basically we did get somewhat of a confirmation. I don't know how this really helps us one way or the other, but Laura Vandervoort actually on her Instagram posted a picture of herself kind of saying that she went brunette again in order to actually participate in her part in the upcoming movie Jigsaw this October 27th. So normally she is a blonde. She's done this for a couple roles before. I'm not necessarily overly familiar with her career, but I've seen her in a couple of shows, and I'm actually really excited. One of the things that they've done is they've actually kind of promoted her as being one of the mainstays of this movie, so obviously she's going to have somewhat of a big role. So any little news here we actually get to, you know, dive into, speculate, kind of claw through, figuring out like who she's playing, what she's going to be doing, what her role is for this film is going to be. And honestly, this isn't a whole lot of information, but I just wanted to dive down in here. I did a video about this on my other channel a long time ago when she was first confirmed to be in the film. And I did a speculation as to what she could be doing, who she might be playing, and I just wanted to kind of reaffirm that particular video without actually just re-uploading that video, just based off of this small news that we've gotten. So one of the things is I personally would love, just absolutely love, I honestly want this to happen, but obviously I'm not in control of the movie. As I've said before, I think a lot of people who are working on this movie are absolutely very talented, and I have full faith in them. As being a big of a fan as I am with this particular franchise, I have full faith in everybody working on this movie, and I just want to reaffirm that with every single video. You might not all like the movie, we might not all like the movie, but I gotta tell you that these guys are very professional. They do really good work, and they have, they have just huge library of stuff that's just been really good, especially in the horror genre. So with that being said, I just wanted to kind of reaffirm that I think that I would love her to play the new apprentice that we're all been hearing about. You know, obviously they've kind of built it up in a way that John has been dead for 10 years. Whoever's doing this again has some kind of connection to him, probably, or at least knows him well enough to basically copy him almost verbatim to think that the police would actually consider the fact that he might be alive, just going off of the brief synopsis we got a couple months ago. And maybe that person is in the police station or in the police force. I don't necessarily think that's going to be the case. I think that's just kind of a red herring they're throwing at us, because that, if it's true, giving way too much away in the plot synopsis, and that's not what Saul does. So I would really like for her to play the new antagonizing role or the new anti-hero Jigsaw role and kind of propel us into new movies. First of all, just because I love Amanda's character, I love the concept of giving this to like a female-led franchise from the near on future. I've also kind of speculated that this could potentially be, you know, Tobin Bell's last role as the titular character, and who knows? Who knows whether any of that is going to kind of come to pass. Another thing I would really like to see her play at this particular point is, at least in my opinion, I would really like to see her play the main person in whatever main trap they focus on. Now, that is to say that this movie could kind of go back to the original film's concept and do a lot of different traps and just show the progression of someone doing all these traps, because the synopsis kind of hints that there are multiple. So we might not only get to see one person, I guess, going through a huge trap or some kind of elaborate trap throughout the entire film. We could be seeing a little bit more like the first film when someone's doing this and it's kind of flashing back or something, or showing other traps that are happening at the same time. We just don't know. So having her be the first female-led trap victim, like big female-led trap victim, would be also something to be really kind of excited about, and that's something I could really get behind. But just because this has become, you know, it's become Jigsaw. The movie's called Jigsaw, the tagline's become Jigsaw, and before it was called Jigsaw, it was actually called Saw Legacy. And that's why I wanted to actually make this video. I do want to point out, and I know this is probably really not going to happen, but in the last video I did here, I talked about, her name is Nev Wilson, And if you don't know who that is, that's fine. She doesn't do a whole lot of stuff. She's not very well known. But at the same time, you've seen her before if you've seen these movies. She played Corbett Dinlin, the daughter of Lynn Dinlin, and Jeff. Jeff had a different name, but that was really because they're both Dinlin. Anyway, she's the daughter between those two people that was kidnapped by. A lot of people say Hoffman. I still think it was Amanda, but I think it could be either one, honestly. But I can't necessarily remember off the top of my head what the pig mask person was wearing when they got kidnapped, and that's usually a telltale sign of who's kidnapping who. But with that being said, she was kidnapped. She was put in a trap for Saw 3, Saw 4, and Saw 5. We got to see her, and then she basically just disappeared. I think it would be really cool to have whoever comes back, or at least have some people who come back, be tangibly related to the people that we've seen in the original films. And I think that at least right now, just because Nev Wilson, as a person, not necessarily just as a character, but as a person, she has brunette hair, and she, although it would make a little sense, I'm not necessarily sure that's what they're going for. The only thing that doesn't make sense here, whether it's Corbett or Diana Gordon, Dr. Gordon and Allison Gordon's daughter from the original film, whether it's one of these two people that she's playing, if there's someone that we have seen before, the only difference is that that Vandervoort's character, or at least her real age, is nearly a decade older than both of these young women, and both of those young women are still acting. Now, it's possible at this point, it's at least possible that they aren't necessarily casting the same people because they do want to keep things a little secretive, and it doesn't necessarily matter how old like one character was or something. Time has always been kind of weird with these films anyway, so I can understand if they wanted to take that route. It's just a little interesting to me, and it's one of those things that you really should take this more as a theory or a speculation that this is who Laura Vandervoort's going to be playing, because we honestly don't know. And personally, I don't think she's going to have much connection to anybody that we actually saw in the original films. I know there's a lot of people out there who want to see Daniel return, or any of these other people that survived return in some way, shape, or form. I don't think it's going to happen. I honestly think that they're going to pull some things to retcon people into a time earlier or in between areas of the original franchise that were basically there but in the shadows, or not necessarily helping for this, that, or the other. That's what I really kind of foresee here. The one thing I'm really saying is, if you want someone to potentially speculate, it would probably be Corbett Dinlin or Diana Gordon's characters, because those are kind of people who were young at the time, who could potentially grow up, depending on where this movie is set and placed, just based on like when the original movies took place, how much time they want to retcon in between each film, and all this other stuff. I mean, there's just so many possibilities, none of which would ruin the movie. It would just, I think that this would be a bit of a stretch, at least in my opinion. But with that being said, I just wanted to kind of put that out there. I know this is not necessarily a whole lot to go on, but it's kind of more of a follow-up to the original video I did, which I'll link in the description section below if anyone wants to go actually check that out. But anyway, guys, I will update you every single time we get some Jigsaw news. I'm really excited for this film. I can't wait for the trailer. If you do want to know when the trailer's coming out, just basically, I would say, I think it's the 21st, the 22nd, I think it's the 21st, around 1 to 2 p.m., I think Pacific time, where they're having the Comic-Con showing and panel for Jigsaw. The Spierig brothers are going to be there. Obviously, Tobin Bell is going to be there. I'm sure the writers will as well, and probably some of the more of the actors. There's only so many people who've been confirmed, so we don't necessarily know, but I'm pretty sure that that's when they're going to actually drop the trailer. So I have everyone's always asking questions of when that's going to happen, so and my best guess, that's exactly when that's going to happen. So please make sure to come back to the channel, where I'll be breaking down the trailer and talking about everything they show us, speculations, theories, just like what could possibly happen. Usually, I won't really expect a whole lot. I just want to re-emphasize, don't expect a whole lot from the trailer. Usually these trailers are really just they're teaser trailers. They don't give a whole lot of the bulk of what the Saw film is going to be, the upcoming one is going to be. But with that being said, they did get in kind of a rut and kind of a marketing juggernaut situation where it didn't matter what was happening in the movie. It didn't matter what anything was, as long as you saw traps and stuff and you basically said if it's Halloween, it must be Saw. then yeah, like that was easy for them to sell these movies. Obviously, we haven't seen a Jigsaw or Saw film for about 7 years now, so they're actually might have to put, they're gonna have to pick up the pace and actually show us something of substance and get people interested. Show that this is not necessarily your daddy's Jigsaw, movie or whatever. I don't necessarily know, but that's just one of the things I think we should all just be anticipating. Just don't put your hopes in a trailer, but also it could potentially blow us all away. You just never know. But anyway, with that being said, I just wanted to make this little quick update video. If you want more of my thoughts on this, I will link the original video in the description section below, but make sure to share your thoughts in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel for more Jigsaw news going forward, and speculation and all this other stuff that I can think of I want to talk about with this film. And honestly guys, hit that bell over by the subscriber button. I hope everyone has a good day. It's been real.